Um, this is, I guess, going to be like a auto documentary of some of my earlier life, um, because I feel it's important. This video I actually made after the first video, but usually the only way you can make a summary video is after you know kind of what the order of things are going to be doing. Um, what I'm going to discuss is pretty much what my life was like and whatnot, and I'm going to be covering some topics. What viewers can expect is my blunt opinion. Like it or not, it's how I feel, and I don't really care anymore about how you. It's not that I don't care about how others feel, right? But we've gone to be a little bit oversensitive, I feel. Um, I wish to document all of this just because people have told me they think it's of interest, to hear me talk. And I guess as I think back on some of these high school things, I think it'll actually reflect quite well for some of those people in a positive way to show what I've created today and where I'm at in my life. Um, and also, just to document the zeitgeist. If you want to say something to me, staff member or student or whoever it was, just person in my life at the time, feel free to contact me. I'll, on all the other famous or all the other popular YouTubers, they point, and then they write stuff. So yeah, I'll do the same here and put in an overlay with my email address or something. Um, about what school in America teaches you and about where the socioeconomic area was that I grew up in. Um, I'm I'm not in your face political, but yeah, there's definitely some things that are clearly apparent. And if you don't like it, well, at the end of the day, Darwin will help sort that. I feel. Um, so it doesn't really matter to me. If you feel what I'm saying is true or not, or um, if it offends you. I guess it's a reality to me. And finally, well, as a Trump supporter, I am a Trump supporter, and I can proudly say that. I really don't care about how you feel, and my ego isn't shattered about what anybody who's watching this may want to cry about. And I think that concludes and documents my general attitude in life. Some of the future topics that I will be covering are some of the origin stories of some kids. Tom A., Ridge R., my childhood friend who lived across the street from me, John K., a girl that I had English class with, and helped me definitely probably in the earlier part of my 20s, M.H. I'm only going to give you initials out of respect. I'm also going to talk about some of the stories of some classes that I had and some interesting socio-economic imbalances, if you will, and how I viewed them from my eyes. The story of Desiree and Dylan. I guess I can actually just share their names. And this was inside the communications class that was offered as a module during the block time of Ridgewood. It was below, near the band room area. Obviously, that part of the building has been remodeled since. I don't actually remember what ended up happening to that area. I think it was a useless use of space. But anyway, and a story of Michael L. and Miss Lobenstein. I got introduced to Michael L. He was, I think, 1 year older than me. He's the guy that had that typewriter handwriting, for all of you that probably ran into him. I'm going to talk about some positive staff and events. Sam L. from the IT department. I'm not going to include your last name. Your story is actually next to be created, just because I respect, your net sapienness. I would like to also talk about my FBLA experience there, and the Atlanta trip. Also, Anwar and that aspect of it, kind of, and Machek W. And everything that I took away, from FBLA. I'm also going to share a story of I published in the school newspaper, and generally the school newspaper concept, my opinions of that. The librarian that we had that was actually passionate about her job, that encouraged me to read a section out of a book that I liked, and I'm also going to share that story as well, and also was tolerant of my Linux kiosk experiments. Mr. Rush, you will definitely have a video dedicated to yourself in a positive way. You've definitely left an impact on me today. Mr. Perillo, I see you're still employed at the building. The last time I checked on the school website, I see that you've moved up from being an English teacher, which I feel, by the way, in my IT world, I think English teachers should be valued. Miss Pemberton, you also have a section coming, and it's not going to be in good light, or at least in mostly mediocre light. Um, but anyway, Mr. Perillo, great words I can say about you, and the times we had with Sadowski, I guess I'm just going to use his last name, and some comments that you made, which, hey, wrap it all up. Mr. Daughtry, I never got to have him as a chemistry teacher. However, I only had one interaction with him, and that one interaction was very good. I might as well actually just include it right here in this origin video. I was in the chemistry lab. There was two chemistry labs side by side. I was in the chemistry lab / physics lab, whatever, with Mr. Rush. He needed the chemistry lab next door. One day he would borrow a student. He would borrow a student on occasion to do a demonstration. And I got borrowed. And I walked into his room and he said, I have a child that is 9 months old, or I'm married and I have a child that is, say whatever months old. And I said, okay. And I walked out, and that was actually the demonstration. Later on, I was impressed and motivated by this because I thought his demonstration would have been much cooler, right? And so I was like, what was this all about? So I found him sometime later in the hallway, back when the hallway still had carpet. And I said, hey, Mr. D, Faisal, shout out to you there. What was all that about? And he said, people will pretty much believe anything you tell them. And he's right. People do pretty much believe anything you tell them. I've gotten to know that over time, and one of my favorite movie quotes is from The Big Short, which is that people do not choose authority based on metrics that are, positive. They choose metrics on what are authoritative. And so, if you are authoritative and you know what you want in life, people will believe pretty much anything you say. Do what you will, with great power comes great responsibility. I had a geometry teacher. Her name was Patricia Brenner. I'm contemplating giving her a phone call. Probably one of the most influential, inspirational math teachers I ever had freshman year, and definitely she deserves to go to heaven when she gets there in due time. There's a good story that I wish to share about her here as well. She deserves a 5-minute clip of her own. There was also a controversy of spending during my junior year, and when there was really kind of the start of the polarization of politics and people's political opinions. And now that I can probably look at it 10 years back kind of thing and 10 years light to it, I definitely have the unpopular opinion that it was probably right. I also would like to talk about Erica Shermer. I'm going to just drop your name because you were mostly nice to me, but we didn't really drive all that well. We just tolerated each other, but at the end of the day, it was a good relationship, so to say, and I ended up learning a few things from you. Your story will be blended in with the story of Kareem M., who has, we were friends after high school, but as the political landscape started to polarize more and more, he also has a story, and Kareem's and Erica's story will go together. These were if you were to ask me, these were like the powerhouse, they were definitely the top 10 in my class. They were always the smartest kids in school. And also some of the bad lessons I learned from Jim Veer, and some lessons from my dad as to how to deal with, sometimes teachers that just suck. Pre-high school, I'm going to talk about John Job and Mrs. DiMartino. You guys definitely gave me a positive foundation, a bedrock, also tolerating me, thank you, that helped me become successful today. I also had some bad, or at least not so good, high school teachers. Not high school, grade school teachers. Miss Murphy, Miss Marquez, and Miss Nickel. Shout out also to Nader S, Bartek R. I'm sorry, Bartek, and I am glad that you've succeeded in life, at least in my opinion. It feels to me that you have prospered. And Damien, Mrs. Cassateri, also God bless you, and Mr. Paul Firking. You guys are definitely deserving of the highest tiers of heaven. along with Patricia Brenner at that same level. Post high school, I have a story to share about Dominica P and Michael, or I guess I'm just gonna just drop his last name, Robel. Okay, Robel, I also have a good story to share about you. I mean, as kids, in a sense, from the bully aspect of you, I don't really mind. It really was not bullyful, and you know, to a negative extent, and you're an okay kid. I'm gonna share a story of what happened one day in gym class over at Giles with Mr. Biedke and you, and fast forward 15 years, or I don't know, whatever, X amount of years now, what my opinions were of what happened, and my, whatever. Um, that's all. As I was going through my notes, I noticed that I missed a piece for the part one video, which I guess I will add. And that's all. Um, have a happy life, everybody.